Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotarasata Sri Shriman, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astotarasata Sri Shriman, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki. Naam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की श्री वृंदावन धाम गोकुल धाम मथुरा धाम द्वारका धाम की श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की ISKCON centers worldwide की, ISKCON संस्था की, गंगा माई यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the most merciful lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, my humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I humbly seek your blessings, especially my seniors and my juniors. You are the real devotees, third generation, more advanced than me for sure. And I seek your mercy that I can do justice to this service that has been given to me, even though I am incompetent, unqualified, ignorant, in no knowledge of Shastra. Somehow, by Gurudev's mercy, I am given this service. What to do? So please bless me. So we are on Canto 3, Chapter 11. Canto 3 is status quo, and Chapter 11 is calculation of time from the atom. Is that right? So how are you enjoying the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam so far? So today's verse is very, very wonderful actually. All the verses are wonderful, but I'm especially enthused because we're going to talk about something that is very exciting, the golden age. So let's begin with the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Praeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So I'm asked to speak on 20 and 21. 21 is on the board. Can everyone see the board? Including the Vaishnavis? No, you cannot. That's normal, right? It's tilted in such a way that only one section can see. Okay. if we can kindly request one of the gentlemen to tilt the board just a little bit, because you know what, Vaishnavis also exist. And children, this side. And if you still cannot, then we humbly request that you share your cell phone with your neighbor, because it's very important to recite these verses. In themselves, they are purifying, even if we do not understand the language. So I will first read 20 and then we'll recite together. Sandhya sandhyam shayor antar ya kala shatasankyayaho tam evahur yugam tajñā yatra dharmo vidhiyate. Translation: the transitional periods before and after every millennium, which are a few hundred years as aforementioned, are known as yuga sandhyas, or the conjunctions of two millenniums according to the expert astronomers. In those periods, all kinds of religious activities are performed. Text 21, which is on the board. Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Please repeat. Kṛte samanuvartate. Sa evānyeṣv adharmeṇa. Vyeti pādena vardhatā. Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Kṛte samanuvartate. Sa evānyeṣv adharmeṇa. Vyeti pādena vardhatā. Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Kṛte samanuvartate. Sa evānyeṣv adharmeṇa. Vyeti pādena vardhatā. Prabhus, please repeat. Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Vyeti pādena vardhatā. Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Kṛte samanuvartate. Sa evānyeṣv adharmeṇa. Ladies, Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Little Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, anyone? Dharmaś catuṣ-pān manujān. Kṛte samanuvartate. Sa evānyeṣv adharmeṇa. Vyeti pādena vardhatā. Very nice, so musical, thank you. Dharma, religion. catuḥ-pāt, complete 4 dimensions. Manujān, mankind. Kṛte, in the Satya-yuga. Samanuvartate, not samanuvartate, properly maintained. Saha, that. Eva, certainly. Anyeṣu, in other. Adharmeṇa, by the influence of irreligion. Vyeti, declined. Pādena, by one part. Vardhatā, gradually increasing proportionately. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Vidura, in the Satya millennium, mankind properly and completely maintained the principles of religion. But in other millenniums, religion gradually decreased by one part as irreligion was proportionately admitted. Please repeat. O Vidura, in the Satya millennium, mankind properly and completely maintain the principles of religion. But in other millenniums, religion gradually decreased by one part as irreligion was proportionately admitted. Purport. In the Satya millennium, complete execution of religious principles prevailed. Gradually, the principles of religion decreased by one part in each of the subsequent millenniums. In other words, at present, there is one part religion, 3 parts irreligion. Therefore, people in this age are not very happy. No surprise, huh? Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swame Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are now in Kali Yuga. Does anyone know where we are, which millennium of which Manu and which Kalpa and so on? Anyone would like to try? 7th Manu, that's right. So we are in Kali Yuga, which is the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu, Vaivashvata Manu. We are in the second half of Brahma's life. 50 years of Brahma's life are over and the second half of Brahma's life has begun. And each Manu, his lifespan is 71 Mahayuga cycles. And we are in the 28th one of that series. And we are in the Kali Yuga. But what is special about this Kali Yuga is Lord Chaitanya appears to re-establish the principles of religion. If we look at Satya-yuga, all the 4 principles were very nicely maintained. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. Then with the coming of Treta-yuga, one by one, these principles started decreasing until in Kali Yuga, austerity, mercifulness, cleanliness is all gone and even truth is tottering on its last leg. That is why people are not very happy, because of irreligion, because of godlessness, because of lack of saintly rule. Mother Earth withholds her bounty. Everything becomes scarce. The cows and bulls are not happy, and so people are not happy. For mankind and all creation to be happy, the laws of God have to be followed perfectly. Then the earth is very happy to give her bounty in the form of harvest, good grains, good rainfall, and not just grains and rainfall, precious gems, minerals are produced by rainfall. Did you know that? His Holiness Chandramauli Swami has written this beautiful book in which he gives detailed explanations of how simple living, high thinking can bring about the most wonderful creation on earth for everyone, not just mankind. In a lecture, Prabhupada mentions that during a certain astrological conjunction, when rain falls on the head of a snake, it produces jewels. When it falls on the head of an elephant, it also produces jewels. When it falls on the ocean, it produces pearls, which are found within oysters, and all kinds of minerals which are necessary for balancing the earth also manifest. So devotees understand this is God's perfect arrangement for peacefulness in society. During the reign of Maharaj Parikshit, the cows were so happy, their fatty milk bags were so full of milk that they would muddy the pasturing grounds with their milk. This was the bounty that existed because of saintly rule. This is very nicely described in 1:10:4. Srila Prabhupada gives a perfect explanation of how this kind of saintly rule can come about. Then in Canto 9, which I'm going to read out, chapter 10, verse 51, Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Ramchandra became king during Treta-yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya-yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Then in the Purport, Prabhupada explains, my dear king, although Kali-yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. If people take to this Sankirtan movement of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, they will certainly be freed from the contamination of Kali-yuga, and the people of this age will be happy as people were in Satya-yuga, the golden age. So, this Hare Krishna movement ordained by Lord Chaitanya and brought about by Srila Prabhupada is meant to bring about this golden age, even in this age of Kali. Kali is going to last for 432,000 years, of which about 5,000 years are already over. We are actually in the Yuga Sandhya. That means the beginning 100 years of Kali Yuga is called the Yuga Sandhya, and the last 100 years is called Yuga Sandhyamsha. So in these first 36,000 years, there is a golden age which is lasting 10,000 years of this Hare Krishna movement, because saintly rule will happen, people will become God conscious, and Varnashram, Devi Varnashram will be established as organized human society where there is cow protection, Brahminical culture, and the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everyone will be engaged in the real purpose of human life, which is Prema Pumartho Mahan, developing our pure love for Krishna. This is the only purpose of human life. Human life is meant for self-realization. So how can this happen in today's age where everyone is beleaguered? How to pay the bills, how to raise the children, how to have a roof above my head, how to get the food, how to get education. We are beleaguered by so many problems. So, Srila Prabhupada, when he was ending up his pastimes, this was in 77 in Vrindavan, at 2 o'clock in the morning, Prabhupada's servant came running to Giriraj Maharaj, that time Giriraj Brahmachari, and he said, Prabhupada is calling you. So Giriraj Maharaj rushed over there and offered his obeisances, and Prabhupada said, how will this movement go on after I have left? So Giriraj Maharaj was thinking, and he said, Prabhupada, we will chant our rounds, we will maintain the 4 regulative principles, we will be very sincere in carrying out all our responsibilities, and then it will go on. So Prabhupada was silent. And then, because he was so weak and so sick, but very clearly, Prabhupada said 2 words: intelligence and organization. So, intelligence and organization is essential for us to carry on the movement and combat the forces of Kali. We have to learn what is happening in the world, and we have to innovate according to time, place, circumstance and candidate. Forces of Kali are very strong. Weapons of mass destruction and distraction exist, isn't it? So, how we are going to bring this about is going to be a test. It's a challenge. So challenges bring out the best in devotees, right? We don't get fazed by challenges. We say, all right, bring it on. We'll do it for Prabhupada. How did Prabhupada do it? He was so brave. Once Srila Prabhupada was describing how as a little child, he climbed the scaffolding of a building, and it was a very dangerous thing to do, but he wanted to see the view, so he climbed up. And one of the disciples said, Prabhupada, that was so brave of you. You must have been very brave. So Prabhupada said, I am still brave. Otherwise, how could I come to your country alone and start this movement? Jai Srila Prabhupada! So, when we look at Srila Prabhupada's life story, we can understand Srila Prabhupada took on such risks, took on such heavy obstacles. We are not asked to do much. We are simply asked to become Krishna conscious. And everything is there. We have beautiful temples, we have wonderful books, we have opulent prasadam. The best things are there. All we have to do is apply ourselves, isn't it? We have sadhu sangha, we have kirtans, we have wonderful festivals. We have so much going for us in this Hare Krishna movement. Why are we still not making any progress? Why are we stuck somewhere? We must understand that whatever blocks are there exist within us. And we must try our level best to remove those blocks by the process of anartha nivritti. Once I asked my Guru Maharaj, what will please you the most? And Guru Maharaj thundered back at me, become Krishna conscious. That's all we have to do, really. That's all we have to do. Every devotee who becomes Krishna conscious is going to influence other people around them for the better, right? So that's all we are asked to do. We are all very small. We are very little. We are like tiny little ants. What can we do? We can't do very much. But we can become Krishna conscious. That much we can do, right? It's not very difficult. If we become sincere, we become determined, Krishna opens the path. He has come for this reason. Paritrana yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a predominant rise of irreligion and a decline of religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, at that time I come myself. What's the next one? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, and to re-establish the principles of religion. I come millennium after millennium. So Krishna's promise is there. I am here in the form of Lord Chaitanya. I am sending you my Senapati Bhakt, Srila Prabhupada. I am giving you everything you need to become successful. Do not worry. Do not hesitate. Do not fear. Isn't that wonderful? What do you think? Yes? And as we see how this movement is expanding and growing, and the devotees, the third generation is here. Believe me, when I see the third generation, I feel so happy that Prabhupada's words are coming true. He said, these are the real devotees. They will take the movement super forward. We don't have to worry. We have done the cleaning up part. Highly intelligent, highly empowered. Some of them are demigods, demigoddesses. They are coming to assist Lord Chaitanya so that Prithivite ache yata nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora nam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it wasn't just in the olden times that there was dharmic rule and now everything is so bad. Yes, but even as late as the 16th century, 18th century, there were very saintly dharmic rulers in India. Have you heard of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj? How many have heard? Okay. So, they had complete idea of the Bhagavad Gita. They knew about saintly rule and their only concern was welfare of the people. The king and the queen were father and mother to the subjects whom they lovingly cared for like their own children. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is famous for being an exemplary leader. He was inspired by whom? His mother, Jijabai. At her knee, he heard the lessons from Ramayana and Mahabharata, and she deeply instilled the values of morality, ethics, religion, proper behavior, respect for women, tolerance of all religions, and honoring the saintly persons. Maharaj Shivaji Chhatrapati Maharaj was famous for honoring both Muslim saints and Hindu saints. He never desecrated any mosque. His soldiers had strict orders not to violate the modesty of any of the women, any of the children, wherever they went conquering. They were not to touch the mosque, and even when they came across a Quran, he would touch it to his forehead and give it to his Muslim generals. He had Muslims in his army who were very loyal and faithful. This is the hallmark of a great leader, that he commands loyalty. Why? Because they can see he is giving his life for them. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says, if you cannot die for something, then you cannot really live for something. So saintly rule was very prominent. It wasn't like it's unknown. Rana Pratap, Prithviraj Chauhan, Rani Chennamma of Kittur, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi. Who has heard of Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi? Raise your hands. Anyone? Do they teach this in Indian history anymore to the children? They do. Very brave ruler. When the British tried to annex her territory on some flimsy pretext, she said the famous words, "Main apna Jhansi nahi dungi." I will not give up my Jhansi. I will fight to the last breath. And she quoted the Bhagavad Gita. Either we will win or we will die on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets. She was raised with Krishna consciousness. She fought very bravely. She was a Kshatriyani. She could ride on horseback. She would fight with both hands with swords. And she really fought bravely for her people who were willing to give their life for her, because she was willing to give her life for them. Finally, grievously wounded, she was drifting in and out of consciousness. And that time she was muttering the words from the verses from the Bhagavad Gita as she had learned them in childhood. The last words on her lips were, Om Namo Vasudevaya. Glorious death, glorious life. So these were the great God-conscious leaders, kings, queens, saints. Mirabai, another very saintly queen, willing to give up her life for Krishna. So India has a very rich legacy of saintly rule. Now things have become bad. But what opulence was there? Gold, jewels, emeralds, sapphires, rubies, diamonds. Such opulence. When the British looted palace after palace and opened the treasuries, they were struck with wonder to see what opulence existed. This is because of saintly rule. The kings and the rulers were willing to give their lives for the welfare of the people. Now things have become very bad because there's no saintly rule anymore. Look at the leaders of today. They are just worse than animals, to be honest. Addicted to all kinds of vices, indulging in all kinds of nefarious dealings. The only motive is power, position, money, and devil take the hindmost. Who cares what happens to the people? Let me grab what I can while I'm in power. Rest. Après moi le déluge. After me the flood. Right? But this is not God-conscious rule. And that is why Srila Prabhupada said all the problems in society is because of bad leadership, non-saintly rule. So now we are trying to bring back the Satya-yuga by having organized human society where there is Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, all engaged in God-conscious activities in order to uplift the consciousness of the planet and bring back peace, prosperity, piety, and God consciousness to all the populace so that every creature, every living creature is benefited. If the cows and bulls are not happy, we will not be happy. This is very important for us to understand because we are so divorced from natural living, high thinking culture. We live in cities, we are surrounded by gadgets. You open the fridge, everything comes out from there. But how did it get there? How did it get there? Because Krishna sent the rain came in the form of grains, that's how we can eat food. Srila Prabhupada famously said, you cannot eat nuts and bolts. Can we eat nuts and bolts? Anyone? I'm hungry. Let me open my cell phone and chew on some parts. Can we do that? No. So we have to understand Prabhupada's directives are to save us. The next phase of our movement has to be loving, strong Vaishnava families and communities and farm communities where Krishna's children are raised very nicely in the mode of goodness under the shelter of mother cow, taking care of her, living in a sattvic environment, learning God consciousness through the Gurukul teachers and practicing simple living, high thinking. Unless we make this move, it's going to be very difficult because the more we depend on the outside culture, the more the demoniac forces are going to control us and enslave us. Already we are enslaved to a great extent. But Prabhupada wants us to have an independent economy, independent society. He even said Mayapur should become an independent nation. So you see it from the Indian constitution, we have our own economy, we have our own coins, Chaitanya and Nityananda coins, we have our own army. We need Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Right now we are a top heavy. Preacher, preaching. All I can do is talk. Preachers can't do very much, we just talk. But who is going to organize society? The Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, the Shudras, Krishi, Go, Raksha, Vanijyam, farming, cow protection, trade, banking, agriculture. This is the duty of the Vaishyas. Kshatriyas, heroism, resourcefulness, bravery, generosity, leadership. This is the quality by which Kshatriyas. And Shudras, labor, faithfulness to the other three classes. So all are required for an organized human society so that everyone is progressing nicely on the path back home, back to Godhead. Where we can all live eternally, singing and dancing and serving Krishna in pure loving devotion, which is our original position. This is our original position. Not meant to be like this. I'm a serious devotee. I don't laugh. I don't smile, I don't talk, I focus on my service. And sing and dance? Never. If you go with this attitude to the spiritual world, they'll say, my dear Prabhu, please go back and learn to sing and dance and smile and laugh and show affection. Then you can come here. Yes? We need to take our Krishna consciousness seriously, but not ourselves so seriously. We are not so important. We are very small. So, if we want seriously to bring about consciousness in this world, which is God consciousness, you and I and he and she have to become Krishna conscious. Hari Bol. And for that we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Organize ourselves nicely so that the whole world becomes like Vaikuntha. Yes? You agree? You are ready to do that? Yes, because this is Lord Chaitanya's desire. Lord Chaitanya's moon is rising. So it's not at all surprising that we are chanting in the street, telling everyone we meet, we're going home, we're going home. Yes, that transcendental home can come here, even in spite of this age of Kali, by bringing about this golden age. Haribo! So thank you all for listening so patiently and tolerating me. And we will now open up for questions, comments, corrections. I humbly request my seniors to please correct me. I'm just a fumbling neophyte. Please forgive me for my faults. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, please take the microphone. Can someone hand over the microphone to Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu, may we know your name, please?
Hare Krishna, I am Krishna Murari Das.
Krishna Murari Das. From now on, I'm going to ask everyone's name so that we are not impersonal anymore. Is that a good idea?
Thank you.
Krishna
Yes.
Murari Das, my humble obeisances.
Obeisances to you. Thank you so much for your class full of wisdom and enthusiasm. You really embody the qualities which you are speaking about, which is very inspiring to see. Not just dry philosophy, but I could see you're living what you speak. My question, I was raised in the Krishna consciousness movement in Los Angeles, and I am enthusiastic to see the vision that Srila Prabhupada had expressed, and which you quote here. My question is, in this transition, how do we get from one side to the other? My experience, personal experience in observing others, particularly in the West, I don't know so much growing up here, where we don't have this rich culture of great leaders and like that to draw upon as part of our cultural history. My experience and observation is that often the children raised in the Krishna consciousness movement were expected to imbibe and embody the mode of goodness, but this was thrust upon them in the mode of passion and ignorance, where if a child did not act like a perfect Brahmana, Vaishnava, or maybe they had the qualities of a Sudra, then they were punished. Sometimes even our processes for purification were used as punishment. Where I know many young people who they were forced to chant japa as their punishment for some activity. And so now they still cannot chant japa because they have some trauma. And still to this day, such things are happening where youth are cast out, not treated like their own family, but cast out because they do not follow the high standards that that Srila Prabhupada had expected. So how do we deal with when these children, demigods or not, I don't know, don't meet the expectations of our community, so that they are able to still progress in their Krishna consciousness from where they are.
Thank you, Krishna Murari Prabhu. You have raised a very important question. Yes, a lot of people have been traumatized at so many levels. Children, women, elderly, the maimed, the disabled, the old, the sick. All of us have suffered to some extent because of overzealous devotees. They themselves are not very mature. Our movement is very young. They were only in their 20s, some of them, 30s. Not that I'm making excuses, but I'm giving a context. So it is up to us now. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said, I am willing to sacrifice my life so the Gurukulis will come back. What a great sacrifice that was. His compassion for what the Gurukulis had gone through was so deep, so profound, and so real that Maharaj was willing to do anything to bring even one soul back to Krishna consciousness. And this is something that is very deep, to help one soul regain their faith. Because I'm a therapist, I'm a mental health counselor. So when people with trauma come back to you and they want to come back to Krishna, you know what is the thing that is most difficult? Their faith. They have lost faith. Because the very people who should have protected them violated them. The very people who should have cared for them exploited them. So, if my own folks can do this to me, you expect me to believe in a God and a goddess, mother and father God, that I cannot see, I don't know where they are. How is that possible? Atheists, research has found, had very cruel fathers. That's how they lost their... So family, this is why I say that for our movement to grow, we have to do the internal work now. We have to clean up our act. We have to make amends to all those children, women, elderly, maimed, disabled, whom we just threw out saying, you're useless now. That has happened to some elderly devotees. Women were treated very badly. We have gone through a lot in our movement. And leadership has to be trauma-informed. Teachers have to become trauma-informed. Otherwise, they are not going to be able to deal with the children. People by their thousands and millions are going to come to this Hare Krishna movement, and most of them are wrecks. One lady, temple president in America, on one of my tours, she told me, the children who are coming to our Hare Krishna movement are wrecks. They are suffering from anxiety, depression, PTSD. So many things have happened to them. So this is just what our children went through. Kali Yuga is real. A UN advisor on TV, this is, in the open, 6 million kids have disappeared. No one knows what has happened to them. So all kinds of things are happening in Kali Yuga. It's a very dangerous, very degraded, very awful age. So we have to do everything we can now to embody the compassion that Prabhupada had for every soul. Each one of us has to really take this seriously. We can't afford not to be compassionate, to be kind, to be loving, to be caring towards each and every one in our Hare Krishna movement. Whether it's a little child, or a grown-up, or a woman, or a man, or a differently abled, mentally challenged, that soul is loved by Krishna and is very dear to Krishna. So externals, we should not be carried away by that. We should understand this soul is coming to Krishna. My duty is to do everything I can to help this soul. That's all. So we have to become very mature now. We have to grow up. If you're not going to grow up now, when are we going to do it? So this is what is expected of us. Especially as the third generation, they are very advanced. If you hear how they talk, this young gentleman here, Nitai, he's asking me about artificial intelligence and Krishna consciousness. I'm like, oh my God, this is so advanced. I won't, if I tell you how these little ones talk, you will be surprised how advanced they are. One little child, only 6 years old, I won't name him, he'll feel very shy. He's telling me, I'll speak in Hindi because he spoke in Hindi. भक्ति में तेजी से बढ़ना चाहिए क्योंकि मौत कभी आएगी ये पता नहीं. The meaning of that is we must advance very rapidly in bhakti because we don't know when death will come. 6 years old. Another 4-year-old is telling his mother when she was complaining about something. She told me this herself. Mama, don't complain. Just as gold is purified by going through fire, you will come out of this more pure. 4 years old. Huh? Now this little 6-year-old, once I was complaining, oh, I'm so tired, it's evening, I have to chant so many rounds. He's saying, Mataji, get up, start walking and chanting. Maya is attacking you. Real devotees are here and they're watching us. They're watching our behavior, they're watching our actions, they're watching our attitudes, they're watching our relationships. So, we are now called upon to become very introspective, very careful, very conscious, then we'll become Krishna conscious. We can't afford to go around like zombies and robots, just going through the motions. We have to become very, very intentional in our Krishna consciousness. Is that helpful?
I don't want to dominate the conversation, but
sure.
When you have children of such character that you describe, and then you also have children in the movement who maybe can be classified as like Varnasankara or something like that. And the issue, and I think the problem that managers have to identify is how to be compassionate, but also we understand that one tree in a forest can burn down the whole forest, or one bad apple can spoil the bunch. And so how do we deal with having these two elements together, where we have children who are already exhibiting qualities of pure devotees, and then children who are having more struggle, and so that they do not...
The most wonderful thing about this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The most hardcore criminal can become a devotee. See, I will share with you this book, Holy Jail, written by His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj. Hardcore criminals, murder, assault, molestation, so many nasty things. They are becoming devotees and practicing Krishna consciousness. And what to speak of our children who are, yes, some of them are Varnashrama, they're coming in with a lot of karmic debts. Therefore, they are, troubled more than others. If they take to the chanting of Hare Krishna, how things can change? How things can change? So even today, Lord Chaitanya is delivering the Jagai and Madhai. What to speak of our kids? They are born into our movement. Even if they are disturbed, troubled, etc., miracles can happen. Miracles can happen. I mean, I'm going to share this with you in the hopes that this might bring some inspiration to others. But when I was a little child, really little child, I was a nervous wreck. I was so shy that if the doorbell rang, I would run inside to the farthest corner of the house and hide behind the curtains so my parents will not drag me out and parade me. And for every little thing, I would cry. My feelings were so sensitive, anybody could make me cry. So obviously, I was mercilessly bullied. Any little thing, crying all the time. This is how I was as a child. If somebody had to tell you, this little child will one day be a public speaker, you'd fall out of your chair laughing. But Krishna wouldn't give up on me. He pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I was a shaking, shivering blob like this. For everything. Now I can laugh. But it was pure misery, childhood, growing up. And both my parents, they are very strong people. Actually, my mother comes from a royal family, a very brave lady. So both my parents come from royal families, very brave. So for them to have a kid like this, who's mewling, whimpering, crying all the time, it was like, oh my God, where did this ugly duckling come from? Pathetic condition. like Krishna gives diabetes, hypertension. He gave me nervousness, depression, anxiety. I even wanted to commit suicide at one point. It was that bad. But today, Guru Maharaj's mercy. I'm here sitting in front of you and I'm a public speaker. So transformation. Krishna will take your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. That sensitivity which I had, which was such a handicap, today I use that to help my clients come out of their depression, anxiety and so on. So what was a terrible weakness has now become a strength. So don't worry, Krishna is your best friend. Have faith in this process of Krishna consciousness because you will experience miracles. Haribol. Yes, take the microphone please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm Hanuman Das.
Hanuman Das.
Yeah.
Nice name, Prabhu. Hanuman ji ki jai.
Jai Ram Lakshman Jaan ki jai bolo Hanuman ki.
Ki jai.
So I've seen our Gurukul, which is in Vrindavan, very big now Gurukul area, very many students. So they call it Bhakti Vedant Gurukul International School. But in that school also, they are giving lot of focus to those students who get good grades in physics, chemistry, mathematics, and if they go to IIT or some good college, they can say that our students are now studying in these premier institutes. So it was supposed to be to make them, like a real Gurukul, Lord's devotee. But now their focus is you get good marks. If you get 99%, you get more extra prasadam, you get so many facilities. So how do we
I don't know much about that Gurukul, but I do know Prabhupada wanted Varnashrama college to happen so that all the children can be trained according to their propensities. He wants Kshatriyas, he wants Vaishyas, he wants Shudras, he wants Brahmanas. And we give them an education. But the whole purpose of education is to make the child God conscious and serve according to his or her propensities. That is the ultimate aim of this Krishna consciousness, because Krishna has put divine potential into each and every child. And our duty, the Gurukul teacher would see what are the propensities in the olden days, what are the propensities of the child and train them accordingly. So this is ultimately the best education. So I don't know about this, what is happening in the Gurukul or what is going on.
I do follow what you say, but for them to attract other parents sending their children to Gurukul, they must advertise. Out of so many passed outs, they joined IIT or doctor.
See,
that is the focus.
Please read this book, Krishna's Way, Natural Living. Those who are, having high-tech, what is that, IT jobs, this, that, so many are getting laid off in America. What's going to happen when all the jobs get laid off? So many IT professionals are without work today. I know, because a lot of South Indians, they go that route. But actually, Brahmanas are not supposed to accept employment from others. They're supposed to give knowledge to others. So, again, society is so lopsided. It is up to us to understand Prabhupada is trying to save us from this slaughterhouse of modern education. And is giving us the way out by teaching simple living, high thinking, God consciousness. This civilization is not going to last. It is already crumbling. It is already crumbling. In London, my Guru Maharaj was saying, the shelves are empty, the store shelves are empty. People come, they steal things and they leave without paying. Because food is becoming more and more expensive. There's going to be food wars. There's going to be wars over water. Basic necessities are going to become more and more scarce if we go on with this harming the environment lifestyle, which is not sustainable. Look at what we are doing to the environment. Does any intelligent creature harm its own habitat? Look at the amount of plastic we are generating and throwing into the ocean. By 2030, there will be more plastic than fish. Look at the way we are decimating the rainforest, cutting down the trees. Look at the pollution we are generating. Look at the cement and concrete buildings coming up everywhere. Do you know how much it costs to make cement? And what is the environmental price for that cement? Does anyone know all these things? That is why Prabhupada said, simple living, high thinking. By the way, mud houses are warm in winter and cool in summer. Cement is hotter in summer and colder in winter. So our heating bills are up, our cooling bills are high, then we have to pay more money. This whole civilization is upside down. Prabhupada said, I have come to create a spiritual revolution, to create balance in the lives of an impious, misdirected civilization. So do we want to take Prabhupada's words seriously? Or do we want to go the route of the Westerners? What has Western civilization done? Created more and more problems. We have no choice except to take the words of Prabhupada seriously if we want to survive in the next century. If we want to do the best for our kids, farm communities. I have no doubts about this. Why? I'm also a medical doctor and have seen what havoc is created today. Mental illness, physical illness. Do you know 150,000 people are killed, this is a US statistics, by doctors, by their medicines in the US. This is a statistic. So what is modern medicine, pharmacy, modern industry, chemicals, what is it doing to Mother Earth? What is it doing to us? It is taking away our lifespan. Younger and younger people getting cancers. Have you heard this? So young, 30s, 40s, getting cancers because of polluted food, polluted with chemicals and all kinds of nasty. We are not even eating food anymore. We are eating chemicals. What's going to happen? And the most horrific thing recently, my daughter sent a little YouTube clip, robots. Robots now are going to become household friends. Can a robot be your friend? It'll do all the work, it'll clean out your garage, it'll drive the kids to school. What is this? And they're saying, just for $20,000, $30,000, you can buy a robot and you can have a companion. Can a robot exchange emotions with you? Can you have a relationship with the robot? Look at what hellish, it's like mind-boggling. We have to wake up. We really have to wake up and take the words of Prabhupada seriously and make moves towards simple living, high thinking. We can't afford to be complacent. I will chant my rounds, I will take prasadam, I will go to sleep, I will do my little service and I'm fine. No, Prabhu, you're not fine. No, Mataji, you're not fine. Wake up. Let's do what Prabhupada wants. Organization and intelligence. Is that all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Please take the microphone.
Hare Krishna. My name is Kaladas.
Hare Krishna, Kaladas Prabhu, my obeisances.
Hare Krishna. The class started off talking about how the world would be happy by protecting the cow, and that all good things would come to society, as proven in the past when cow protection was a big issue. Now today, I see a growing trend, even amongst some of our devotees, active devotees, becoming vegan or vegan. And it's interesting because they think they're protecting the cow by becoming vegan. In the meantime, they're not offering milk to Krishna, And they're contesting the idea that Prabhupada actually should have known better than to offer milk coming from these abused cows. I'm wondering what your comment would be to those individuals who profess to be devotees and yet are following this vegan diet.
First and foremost, I'm very junior. I wouldn't dare to speak to any of the senior devotees anything, but I would highly recommend you read the book Bhakti Milk. Bhakti Milk tells us that how milk is actually very dear to Krishna because the cows are very dear. He loves butter. He's makhan chor. Milk, yogurt, buttermilk, paneer, cheese, cream. Krishna loves things that are made with milk and milk products. His dham is called Golok Vrindavan. So Krishna loves milk, and it is our duty now to have farm communities so that our protected cows can give us nice milk to offer to Krishna. We can't go on saying, oh, Prabhupada offered this milk, so we can also offer this milk. Those were those days. And now things are different. If we can, if we try, we can access ahimsa milk. I know there's no ahimsa milk in whole of Mayapur, which is really heartbreaking. But what my Guru Maharaj does is, he carries powdered ahimsa milk on his travels, reconstitutes it, and he has that. So, veganism is actually maybe one step better than offering milk that has come from the superstore, which is supporting cow slaughter because it's subsidized milk and we know what happens to the cows. But at the same time, we must promote cow protection. Even if we are not directly engaged, we can support by donations, we can support by speaking about cow protection, we can support by promoting this culture of cow protection. So there are many things we can do to bring about this, bhakti milk. I would like to call it bhakti milk. Mother Vishwadika has written a book. I would like to give you a copy if you would like to have it. It's called, as I said, Bhakti Milk, in which she explains step by step how she moved from being a person who wouldn't take milk to now taking only ahimsa milk. And if ahimsa milk is not available, she prefers not to take, store-bought milk like that. So that's what I would say. I don't know if that's helpful to you.
Well, it's very difficult for even devotees to actually financially even protect the cow, even if they want to. But there's a certain amount of laziness, I feel, on the part of individuals that will not take up the service of setting up farm communities, or even if it isn't a community, on an individual basis, to buy some land. But it's highly economically difficult these days.
That is why we need to be united, we need to have visionary leadership, and we need to have a determined effort to make this happen, because it is Prabhupada's desire. This is not my fancy, your fancy, her fancy. Oh, I fancy living on a farm, so cute with the cows. No! We need to have this happen. It's not someone's fancy, it is Prabhupada's desire. And you're right, it's not a one-man show. It's going to take team effort. It's going to take very, very concerted effort and a determination to do this. If we want to survive, we've got to do it.
I think that
it
can be a one-man show. I mean, my daughter has 13 cows.
Haribol! More power to her.
Yeah, in Canada. And her and her husband have had these cows, a number of cows for years.
I see.
And the reason that I'm mentioning them, because it is possible to do it,
Okay.
but it takes determination, and also takes the idea of actually protecting the cow rather than making it a business. Because a business undertaking means that you have to keep breeding the cow, which means it grows, the herd grows into maybe unmanageable proportions.
Right.
But yet it is possible to do, and a person in the city will buy a house for, in North America anyway, $500,000. But they could easily in the countryside buy a couple of acres of land, usually quite a bit of land for that amount of money. The problem is that the conveniences of modern society are not available often to them.
Believe me, we are going to lose all those so-called conveniences very fast. When the coal runs out, when the oil runs out, when the petroleum runs out, when we don't have water in our taps, when the lifts don't work, when our cars don't have gasoline, what are we going to do? So, is it better to change voluntarily, or is it better to be forced to change? Which is better? Which is better? No-brainer. We have to understand Prabhupada sees past, present and future. He's giving us warnings. He's giving us directions to save us. By mercy of my Gurudev, I'm going to visit a farm community in Andhra. It's called Kurmagram, where there's no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no cell phones, simple living, high thinking. And it's a growing community. People from everywhere are coming to see how they are living. It's a thriving farm community. And they're following strictly the principles that Srila Prabhupada has given. I want to see what is happening over there. So I'm planning a visit. Because we must educate ourselves. We must understand how to make this happen, and then support the youngsters who want to make it happen. You young people are going to do it. We are all old people now. Our job is to inspire you, encourage you, guide you, advise you, support you. Right? That's the job of Brahmanas. But the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas and the Shudras are required to make this organized human society. Then there will be peace, prosperity. Our Hare Krishna movement's future depends on this. We cannot afford to live depending on the Western civilization. We can't. We just cannot. We've got to do this. Okay, it's 9:15. The organizers will throw me out. I will if I continue. So we will stop here. My humble obeisances to everyone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.